Well, James Blake literally didn't know what hit him. A week ago today, Blake, a retired professional tennis star, was standing outside the Grand Hyatt Hotel in New York waiting for a car to go watch the U.S. Open. Surveillance video shows what happened next. An undercover police officer ran at him, wrapped an arm around his neck, tackled him, and then dug his knee into his back. Blake, who is biracial, never resisted. The officer then handcuffed him. Police say they mistakenly identified Blake as a suspect in a credit card fraud probe. On Thursday, NYPD Police Commissioner Bill Bratton said the arrest, quote, should not have happened.
We are very interested in speaking with Mr. Blake and hope to hear back from him to extend an apology for the experience he encountered. Should not have happened. Concerns I have about what I witnessed on the video, as well as briefings I've received by Chief Resnick, the inappropriateness of the amount of force that was used during the arrest.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio has also personally apologized to James Blake. At least one officer has been placed on administrative desk duty after the incident. Speaking on Good Morning America Thursday, Blake said he believes the police need to be held accountable.
When you police with reckless abandon, you need to be held accountable. And I think I'm hopefully going to let people know that some of them need to be held accountable. And these that are doing police work the wrong way need to pay for those actions and be shown either the door or whatever they need to do to punish them.
As developments in James Blake's case of mistaken identity continue to unfold, criticism continues to mount against New York City's police union, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, and James Frascatore, the undercover officer who took Blake down. More is being learned about the record of Officer Frascatore, who tackled James Blake as he stood outside his hotel. He's worked for 4 different police departments in the last 5 years, from Florida to New York, has had 5 complaints in just 7 months against him registered with the Civilian Complaint Review Board. That's more than 90% of the officers on the force. But the CCRB, as it's known, an independent agency charged with handling complaints against the police department, has its own problematic history, criticized for covering up police misconduct, operating in secret, and colluding with the NYPD. Well, for more on this story, we're joined by Kenneth Finkelman, who is a staff attorney with Legal Aid Society. He represented Leroy Klein, a Queens resident who claimed Officer Frascatore punched him in the face after the officer stopped him for a broken taillight. And Amy Rameau is with us, a civil rights attorney representing Warren Diggs, who was pinned on the ground by Officer Frascatore and 2 other officers on January 12, 2013, for riding his bike on the sidewalk. He sued Frascatore for assault earlier this year. Democracy Now!, of course, invited the New York Police Department to join us on the show or submit a comment to read on the air, but the NYPD did not respond to our request. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Kenneth Finkelman, let's begin with you. Yes. When you heard this story of the officer taking down the police star in front of the Grand Hyatt, the video, when did you make the connection?
As soon as I heard the name. I mean, I was investigating this officer for over a year, and was an unbelievable battle with the DA's office to convince them to drop charges against Mr. Klein, and they were refusing to do it, despite the fact that the medical record showed that the only injury to this officer was to the middle knuckle of his fist, and that the officer had told medical personnel that he had punched somebody in the mouth. And despite the fact we had 2 witnesses in the vehicle at the time of the incident, my client passed the polygraph test. Once we started interviewing other people in the community who had very similar experiences with Officer Frascatore, as far as having charges made up against them, being assaulted, people who had never gone to the CCRB, we were able to get the raw data concerning him from the CCRB, because that was their position at the time. If you made a FOIL request, you could find out how many complaints there were. At that point, we were able to use that raw data to get a subpoena, and a former commissioner of the CCRB, Judge Lopez, signed it, and that's when we found out about this audio tape. And it was only because the audio tape was revealed, which showed that Officer Frascatore had lied about the Hines case. Officer Frascatore had entered without a warrant in a woman's home, and demanded a bicycle because he said it was arrest evidence in riding your bike on the sidewalk case against Ms. Hines' husband. And Ms. Hines basically just said, "What are you doing here? Why do you need the bike?" And then she got arrested simply for delaying, and then he lied in a sworn statement under oath in a complaint and said that she had said, "F you, I'm not giving you the bike." It was only because of that audio tape that the DA's office was willing to dismiss the charges. Now, the CCRB is refusing to provide that raw data in any case. That's been their response to this absolute surge in police violence. So it's very, very disturbing that that would be the response of the CCRB.
Well, I want to turn to a recording of the encounter that Officer Frascatore had with the girlfriend of Warren Diggs, Nafisha Hines, after Warren was stopped for riding the bike on his sidewalk. Nafisha Hines had one of her children take the bike inside the house. It quickly escalated. This is an audio recording that she took with her cell phone.
Where's the bicycle that was out here?
It's my bike.
I need that bicycle, thank you.
It's my bike.
It's evidence. It's evidence or I'm coming in the house.
Listen.
If you're gonna, it's called
Excuse me, I
tampering with
can't hear
evidence.
everybody talking at the same time. I'm sorry.
It's called tampering with evidence.
First,
Bring the bike
could you
outside.
back up a little bit, please?
No.
I feel threatened.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm about to come in your house.
I'm sorry, don't.
And take the bike.
I'll bring the bike out in a minute.
If this is what you want your kids to witness, that's fine. I'm going to arrest you and take the bike if you do not get out of my way and hand me the bicycle.
If you can back up,
Go get the
please,
bike, ma'am.
I will get the bike.
You're gonna get the bike right now.
I'm going to go open because I don't want to.
This is what you want.
Listen,
Here we go.
what
I
you're
don't
doing.
care.
You're doing this.
Give me
You
the
don't
bike.
care?
Get the bike or you're going to
Give me
jail.
the bike or you're going to
I
jail.
will bring the bike.
Get the bike then.
I will bring the bike. Can you back up, please, so I can close the door?
Get the bike.
And if you lay a hand on me, you're going to jail as well. So I suggest you stop.
Get the bike so you can take care of your kids and we can leave.
Are you touching me?
Are you going to go to jail now?
Are you touching
Yes.
me too?
You're going to go to jail in 2
I can't get the bike if
seconds.
you're holding me.
Get the bike right now.
Let go of me. Don't come in my house. Don't come in my house. Let go of me. Let me get the bike. Let me get the bike.
No, you had 5. How many times did we tell you that? How many times did we ask you to get the bike? How many times did we ask you, huh?
Let go of me, please. Let go of me, please. And bring the bike out. He has the bike now. What's the problem?
Because you're going to jail.
I'm going to jail for what?
Because you don't listen. That's why.
Thank you.
Can I call somebody, please? My
Is there
children-
anybody who wants your children? Come inside. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Relax. Is there any other adult home? Is there any other adult home?
I'm a minor. I don't have to answer you.
Oh, yeah, I see your mom teaches you well. That's great.
Warren Diggs was pinned on the ground by Officer James Frascatore and 2 other officers on January 12, 2013 for riding his bike on the sidewalk. He sued Officer Frascatore for assault earlier this year. Welcome to Democracy Now! Set it up for us. What happened that day?
I was returning from the store. It was around 7:45 in the evening. I ride my bike in the street. It's just something I do, you know. All the way up until I get to my driveway. I go down the driveway, and on the way down, I hear somebody yell to me, you know, "Stop! Where you going? Where you going?" So I'm not sure if it's for me because, you know, there's no reason for it, but there's nobody else outside at this time. Anyways, I get off the bike, begin folding it, and this is my normal routine coming in. And Officer Frascatore, 2 other officers come running down the driveway. "Where you going? Where you going?" So I'm going home. "What's the problem?" They said, "What's your name? Do you have any ID?" I said, "My name is Warren. Yes, I have ID, but I don't have it on me. It's inside." So the second officer asked me the same questions. "What's your name? Do you have any ID?" I said again, "My name is Warren. My ID is inside. I will get it if you don't have a problem." Nobody said anything. I said, "I have to get my keys. They were in my back pocket." So I proceed to get my keys out of my pocket, and I turn so that they can see the keys. Not moving fast enough. Got my hands up, moving slowly. Take the keys out. Pick out the key that I need. Nobody's speaking to me. Nobody's saying stop. Nobody's saying why I'm being stopped or anything. Open the doors, 2 doors to get in. I step in. As soon as my second foot reaches the landing, Frascatore grabs me, tries to pull me out. It just spins me around, but I asked him, like, "What's the problem?" The other officer grabs my other arm, and they both yank me out into the driveway. So I'm saying, "What is the problem? What is this about?" Frascatore punches me in the side of the head. The officer that was behind me, he grabs me around my waist, picks me up, he slams me on the ground. So I'm like, what is the problem? What's going on? The third officer says, you were riding your bike on the sidewalk. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So Frascatore drops down on me, and these guys, you know, the guy behind me hits me in my back. I'm getting hit all in my side. I see 2 other cops come down the ramp, and I'm getting hit on, I'm asking, what are they doing? Nobody's saying anything to me, so I start screaming for my girlfriend to come outside. I'm calling her, she doesn't respond, so I just start screaming, help, 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 over and over again, loud and loud as I could. When the other 2 officers get down, one of the officers, I believe that was Frascatore from the direction the voice came from, but I hear him say, Mason. So I'm thinking to myself, it's getting bad now. Like, I'm being beaten, nobody's responding, you know, nobody's outside, it's dark, nobody's seeing us. So I start screaming louder and louder, help, 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 somebody help. So a hand appears in front of me, I get Mason in my forehead, I close my eyes, and I'm getting hit. I hear again, Mason again, Mason again. I get maced the second time. I'm still getting hit. Officer puts his arm around my neck. He's pulling, he's choking me.
He's got you in a stranglehold?
Yes. I have this stuff in my face, it's burning my face. I'm trying to keep my eyes closed so it doesn't go in.
Is it Frascatore who has you in that stranglehold with his arm around your neck?
No, he was on my side. Oh. The other officer that helped him pull me out of the landing.
Mm-hmm, the door.
He was the one that was behind me. But after I'm down on the ground, all I know is Frascatore is on my side. He's the one that's hitting me on the side. The other officer and him are both trying to put my arm behind my back, and I'm scared that they're gonna break my arm because I don't know what is this all about, and I'm just help, help, help. So I hear my side door open, and that's when my girlfriend comes out. And that's when all of the hitting stops and everything. They're just holding me down. So I can't, I'm out of breath. It's hard for me to breathe because the cop is still holding me. I hear her say, you know, does it take that many of y'all to hold him? And they tell her to be quiet, and one officer goes to talk to her, and then they start telling me to get up. And I'm telling them I can't get up because, first of all, 2 of them are still on me. I have no energy. My body will not respond to me. I want to get up, but I can't. I can't get up. I can't. My eyes are burning. My face is on fire. I can't really see anything, and it's just bad. I don't know what other way to put it. But then after a couple minutes, they still, you know, telling me to get up, and then finally they decide to help me up. So they put the cuffs on me, and then they pulled me up next to the side of the house and had me sitting on the side of the house. And then they asked me, do you have anything you're not supposed to have? And I'm like, I'm not talking to you. You guys beat the crap out of me. I'm not speaking to none of you. I have nothing to say. So my girlfriend's telling me, you know, to relax, relax. I'm like, relax. Did you see what they did to me? She didn't see because she wasn't outside. You know, when she came, they stopped.
And your 2 kids are there also?
Yes, they're inside. I don't know what they saw, but I heard them screaming. I heard them. And then the cops, they picked me up, they walked me to the front of the house, and then they put me in the car.
And what did they charge you with?
They charged me with assault on an officer. They charged me with resisting arrest. They charged me with obstruction of justice. They charged me with, I don't know what it's called for riding your bike on the sidewalk. They charged me with possession of marijuana, and a 6th charge, I don't even remember what it is.
They charged him with everything.
Amy Rameau.
Yes, they charged him with everything they could have possibly charged him with to attempt to justify the beating that they administered. The resisting arrest, the obstruction of governmental administration, the assault on police officers, all of that was to try and justify the fact that he did, in fact, sustain a number of injuries as a result of their assault upon him.
And so when did you sue them?
You know, well, I'll let him tell. He was rather demoralized for a while, and he wasn't going to pursue a lawsuit at all. You know, hence the delay in my filing the lawsuit for him. He came to me.
It was a while after. It was a few months. I'm not sure.
And what he said to me was, you know, and we talked about this.
Yeah, I've had problems with police harassment and these type of things for a large part of my teens and my early 20s. And I've been through stuff. I've had cases put on me before out of state where I had to go to court and fight and had no support. And afterwards, having cases dismissed, I tried to go and pursue lawsuits, and I could not find anybody that would assist me. So when this incident came, I was angry, and I wanted something done, but I just didn't have any faith that anything would be done. So
what ended up happening with all the initial charges?
They were all dismissed. All the allegations were dismissed.
And so ultimately, though, you did sue?
He did.
Yes.
And when
he came
was
to
that?
me and I filed a lawsuit for him earlier this year.
And did you file a complaint with the Civilian Complaint Review Board?
I did, yes, I did.
And did they respond?
They sent me back a letter saying that the police actions were justified.
Well, they substantiated only one of the allegations, that being that police officer Frascatore failed to identify himself as required when he was asked to by Ms. Hines.
Yeah. So when you saw what happened to James Blake, when did you make the connection between the officer who you see, this human torpedo coming at Blake on the video, and you?
Well, in the video, I can't tell because it's just the top and the back of his head, so I didn't realize it was him actually until the first reporters came to my house to speak to me. And when they mentioned his name, I'm like, that was him? And they was like, yeah, that's just, I'm like, wow, this guy's
Did you get a call from Mayor de Blasio or Police Commissioner Bratton
apologizing? I didn't get a call
apologizing?
from nobody other than a couple of news reporters.
I'd like to ask Kenneth Finkelman, this whole issue of the Civilian Complaint Review Board. Now, supposedly the Civilian Complaint Review Board now under Mayor de Blasio is being run by a civil rights attorney and Richard Emery. And what's been your experience with the CCRB now in recent years?
Ironically, it's become much worse dealing with them because they have a new policy of suppressing all information. It used to be that you could get the raw data pursuant to the Freedom of Information law. That raw data was very useful. Now their position is no raw data should be provided. As a matter of fact, they highlighted in their yearly report that they're being much more protective of police officers now. This is their claim to fame at this point. And as a matter of fact, the Legal Aid Society brought a lawsuit in the Garner case to get the raw data. The Supreme Court judge agreed with us, and now they're appealing. And so this is the most shocking thing I can imagine, because if we hadn't had that information in the Klein case, none of this would have gotten out. Nobody would be talking about this. They would all seem like separate cases. It's only because we had the raw data, a judge signed a subpoena, we had the material, and Robert Lewis from NPR brought a story with that audio tape. That's why we're here today.
I want to turn to Leroy Klein, one of your clients, a Queens resident who was pulled over in 2012 by Officer Frascatore for a broken taillight. This is Klein speaking to CNN.
Well, it was a routine stop. He asked me for license registration, and where I'm from, I get pulled over a lot. So,
you do?
Yeah, this time I decided to ask, what am I being pulled over for? Frascatore, he completely ignored me. He said, license registration. I said, sir, what am I being pulled over for, politely? That's when he reached inside my door and unlocked my car door and opened it. And he tried to grab me. I didn't know what was going on, so I swayed back. That's when he came with 3 straight shots to my teeth, to my mouth area. And at that point, I was delirious because it felt like I had no 2 front teeth at that time. So I was screaming at the top of my lungs. That's when his partner came around and grabbed my legs, and they actually threw me in front of my hood. They patted me down. He actually slammed my head to the front of my hood twice. I guess he did a quick little pat down, handcuffed me. He ripped I had shorts on that had like a string to hold them up. He popped that off. So at this point, my shorts were down to my ankles, and my boxes were showing.
Officer Frascatore had a different story. He claimed Leroy Klein attacked him and bit his fist. He said he sustained permanent injuries while trying to arrest him. However, medical records revealed the officer's cut on his hand was consistent with him punching Klein in the mouth. Kenneth Finkelman, you represented Klein. Can you quickly summarize what happened? You also sued the police over Frascatore, sued
Not
Frascatore?
I, but he did sue. I'm a lawyer with the Legal Aid Society. We don't sue people. The only injury to the officer was the middle knuckle of his fist. I would just like to say, I would like the City Council to hold a hearing and call in the CCRB employees that were in charge of the investigation in the Diggs case, in the Hines case, in the Leroy Klein case. Call in the IAB people that were involved in these investigations.
The Internal Affairs Bureau. Yeah.
Yes, let's find out why nobody found any of these allegations to be substantiated. Despite audio tapes in the Hines case, despite the police officer's admissions in the Klein case at the hospital that he'd punched somebody in the mouth. Let's find out why nobody substantiated any of these allegations.
But your client sued.
Yes.
And Frascatore is still, this assailant is still on the force.
They're ready to promote him to be a detective. And now the CCRB's only reaction is to suppress all information. I'm wondering if Mayor de Blasio even knows about this. I would like him to invite my client to the mayor's office and explain why the new policy is suppression of all information.
We have to break, and we're going to come back to this discussion. We'll also be joined at the table by Joy Ann Reid. Thank you very much to Kenneth Finkelman. We'll continue this discussion with the Legal Aid Society. Amy Rameau and Warren Diggs will stay with us. Amy Rameau is the attorney representing Warren, who also brought a suit against Officer Frascatore, the man who took down James Blake, which is why his record, that's Frascatore's record, is all being opened up right now, because James Blake, who was the victim this latest time, it was caught on videotape, and he's a tennis star. Stay with us.